What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fit Women's Weekly podcast. We are going to jump right into this episode with intimacy expert Allana Pratt. Now, I absolutely adore this woman. The passion that she has is just contagious. And we're going to talk about being intimate with yourself, being intimate with partners, issues as we get older, and how to just reconnect with yourself on a deeper level. I got so much out of this episode, and I hope that you do as well. If you do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I put out brand new episodes every week. I don't want you to miss out because we're always having fun interviews with experts like Lana. Or I'm over here talking things up about my own personal training and answering your questions. Let's jump into this episode. Let's just get started. Kind of share a little bit with the crowd listening who you are and what got you started to become an intimacy expert.
3 hours and a bottle of wine. I could tell you the whole story.
Hey, well, I've got an iced coffee.
Okay, I've got my coffee too. So I'm an intimacy expert. I define intimacy as into me, I see. And when we look inside, how is our relationship with ourselves? Do we avoid ourselves? Do we judge ourselves? Do we have compassion for ourselves? This inner relationship allows us to be home on the inside so we can be heart open and present with not just a beloved, if you're dating or you're in a marriage, but also with your children, also with your body, also with the divine. It's all like how intimate, vulnerable, open, and honest can you be with the world? And so I suppose my path into being an intimacy expert was because I needed to learn what I teach. And so I'm from Canada, small town Canadian girl, and I didn't want to take over dad's pharmacy or be a teacher like mom. I didn't feel they paid her well enough. I think I am kind of a teacher myself. But I hopped on Uncle Phil's 18-wheeler semi just to explore life and move to LA. Then I ended up in Tokyo. And then I ended up in meeting a tall, dark, and handsome Wall Street trader, moving to New York, going to Columbia University, discovering I was intelligent, graduated cum laude, yet there was still something missing, this depth. I was smart enough and adventurous enough and brave enough, but I also wanted someone that valued my depth, didn't judge my wobbly heart. And as I learned not to judge my wobbly heart, that relationship completed, moved on to my next relationship right when my mom was dying. Kindal, and I don't know if you've ever done the bypass thing where you just don't want to feel a feeling. So instead of feeling the death and the loss of my mom, I thought, a man is a plan, a man and a baby is a plan. So, and I was over the Disneyland, relationships are all perfect. So I'm like, I'll just find a man. And that relationship, mom died, I got married, we had a baby right away. And then I discovered, my closed heart. Yeah, my closed heart attracted a closed heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that marriage ended as well quite quickly after a year. But then it was a 13-year custody battle. He was not thrilled that I rejected him from his, accurate point of view. And so that brought me to my knees, lost everything, lost the house, lost my savings, went into $250,000 of debt. And it really took me to my knees, but at least I had my son until his whole entire existence was court. And so he said, Mom, the only way to stop Dad from coming after you, I'm going to live with Dad. I'm going to let him win. I know what I'm doing. Don't stop me. And so I took the high road. Yeah, I took the high road and let him discover his manhood. He was 15. His dad is Jewish, so bar mitzvah's around 13. You're becoming a man. So I said, okay. And to date, it's been 5 years since he's reached out to me. And so it's been such a journey, each of these steps, Kindal, in this intimate relationship with myself. Do I need someone to approve of me to be enough? Do I need someone to agree with me to be enough? Do I need someone to save me to be enough? Do I need someone to apologize to be enough? Do I need someone to be in contact with me to be enough? And so each of these very painful lessons, it's almost like facets of a diamond, pressure. It's been hard. It's been a hard road, but I do my work. And so each time I become more and more integrated, whole, and in allowance. I don't like what's happened or prefer what's happened, but I don't have to resist it. I don't have to blame others. I don't have to give my power away. And I'm more and more whole with an intimate relationship with myself and the divine. and able to be really compassionate and understanding with whatever story my clients bring to me. I
Mhm.
don't judge because I've learned not to judge myself or others.
Mhm.
And just at the recording of this interview, which I'm pissed that we didn't get to speak in Charleston when I was
I
there in
know.
person. But I've just been a week here in Santa Fe. And Kindle, this is the first move I've made, not for a job, not for a man, not for my son, but just for my joy.
Mhm.
And so I'm really proud of myself.
That's beautiful. And what I love, and I actually was just writing an email to my clients about this earlier, about this idea of being enough. And so
Mm.
often, especially women, put the external definitions out, right? Like we have to be defined externally that we're enough. Our spouse
Yep.
has to tell us enough. Do I look fit enough? Am
Yep.
I fast enough, strong enough, smart enough? How
Yep.
do you handle clients like that, and what starts their journey to realize that that enough has to come from within themselves?
Yeah. I didn't even know I had an inside. I was running so fast on the outside trying to keep up, look good,
You don't have
not get
time.
hurt, right? We
Exactly.
don't have time to go inside. And when I started to have an intimate relationship with myself and go inside, I didn't like what I found.
Mhm.
I was insecure and I felt ashamed and not good enough, all these feelings we're talking about. So over time, I've developed 10 Allana Pratt method processes. And the very first, I think, is the essential foundational practice, little you. And I imagine that little you is inside of our body in the form of energy. And maybe you have experiences where your heart is contracted or your throat, you can't speak up, or you get nauseous, you can't stomach or digest some situation. Or me, I walked around with a permakegel, like, ooh, scared to even
Right.
rest onto the planet. So this energy of little you is stored, stuck, held in the body from an unprocessed trauma. And trauma doesn't have to be you were in a war.
Mhm.
Trauma could be that there was a repeated you were abandoned or avoided or made wrong or told to be quiet or ignored over and over and over, and that wound never got processed and it's held in our body. And so when I work with clients, or I give them an assignment, when you get triggered, when you want to leave, want to run, when you want to control, like there's an emotion in there. Little you is feeling something that never got processed. So breathe, feel the sensation go into your body, and really imagine in your mind's eye, little you is in there. And their back is probably to you because you've ignored them
Mhm.
or you've made them wrong, or you've tried to fix them or change them. You haven't just been unconditional love, acknowledgement, and allowance that, wow, that part of you has every right to feel that way.
Mhm.
And when we have an intimate relationship with these parts of ourselves, these little yous, without the agenda to make you better so you'll get the guy or you'll lose the 10 pounds or you'll get the client. No, 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 no agendas. You're going to go in and love that part of you, ashamed, scared, mad, sad, whatever it is, forever, even if they never change. That would be love without condition. Otherwise, it would be conditional love. And there's something magical that occurs. I believe the energy of the divine and our own will or our own intentionality, and then surrender, where this, like, it's an alchemy occurs within people's bodies and beings where, wow, I can actually love myself, even if I was a little bit scared forever.
Mhm.
I can love myself even though I had a divorce. I can love myself even though I gained 40 pounds after the baby. I can love myself even though he left me, right?
I love that.
There, this creates wholeness, and we can hold that we are masterful where we're masterful, and
Mhm.
we're a hot mess where we're a hot mess, and we don't have to reject any parts of ourselves. And that feeling is a confidence that no one can take away.
Do you feel like that confidence comes a little bit as you get older? You almost just become a little bit more open to realizing the things, the little me within. For example, you just saying that brought back this great idea. And I share a lot of personal experiences on this podcast. So, um, just recently I've been doing a lot of self-reflection in myself, and with
Mm.
my husband and I have now been together for 20 years, but we're always a work in progress, right? It's
Right.
never easy by any means.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I realized last night was we were getting in a little bit of an argument about something, and my first response was, I'm not going to fight with you right now. And I walked away. And I've been
Yeah.
thinking, like, that's always my response. And all of a sudden it hit me. And I was like, I have grown up from my dad who had a temper going, don't anger your dad. Don't anger your dad. And it was
Right.
like that finally at 41, it was this huge epiphany where I was like, that's my response to things.
Right, right, right. That's brilliant for you to be so aware. So I believe our masculine energy is our awareness and our
Hmm.
feminine energy is more of our expression. So your divine masculine was able to go, "Oh, that's a pattern.
Hmm.
I now have a choice. I have now have choice." And then I would invite the next thing that would probably happen would be a feeling. Because if you would, and I'll give you an example of what happened, a brilliant example of this to support the viewers and listeners. If in that moment when he was starting to get angry, instead of, "I'm not going to fight, leave," be, feel your feet on the floor, close your eyes for a moment, and just breathe and scan your body. What are you feeling? Do you want to do it right now?
Yeah, I actually am
Okay,
doing it right now.
okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what were you actually feeling right before the habitual response was to leave?
Embarrassment because of what I had done. I had not done something that we were putting together an ad campaign just to like put it completely out there. And I
Yeah.
didn't do something appropriately. And so it held off us being able to publish this campaign that we were trying to do.
So shame.
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 Yeah,
Yeah. And
exactly.
so that's like the deepest on Hawkins scale of consciousness, right? Guilt and shame. So that's a humdinger. So you go for the big ones, girl. Well done. So
Yeah, I am all there,
I love
all or
this about
nothing.
you. I love this about you. That's so great. So in that moment, and we can do it right now, imagine in your mind's eye and be present in your body, feet on the ground. There's the embarrassment, the shame, and just breathe and find where little you is holding on to that shame within your body. And where do you feel the shame?
Right in my heart. Like it's almost like my heart stops beating.
Yeah,
Like an
yeah.
anxiety attack is kind of coming, is the feeling that I get.
Stunning. So I'll just press pause for a second. In terms of trauma, level 4, you're gone, dissociated. You've left your body.
Mhm.
Level 3, when you come back in, it's, "Oh, what's the point? Hopeless. This is so hard. Why even try?" Level 2 is a very short, acute panic attack, terror, rage, fury. It's very short, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, but it's intense. And then level 1 is relief. Okay, a little bit of overwhelm, but I made it. I made it. And level 1 is, or level 0 is home. Total integration of the autonomic nervous system within the body where you and God, the divine, and your body, it's all one. So if you want, we can just continue to feel within your heart that panic that occurred way back as a little girl, that if you actually stayed in the room, your little girl body really feared for her life. She really honestly feared, not the adult Kindle, but the little one.
Sure.
And so if we just put our hand on our heart and just, I like to call in the angels just to like hold vigil for us as we feel through something where your autonomic nervous system, like underneath the iceberg, the part under the water, the subconscious truly believes it's going to die. And we're just going to be with her and breathe with her and feel that shame, the embarrassment, and the panic of, "Oh my God, if I feel this, something really bad could happen." And it normally takes about 30 seconds as we just allow, hold space, acknowledge, feel, breathe. And your husband of 20 years, I'm sure, loves you. And if you could just say, could you just be with me? Could you just be with me? I'm feeling something right now. Thank you. You just keep feeling. Sometimes it moves to other areas of the body, maybe the throat,
Mhm.
maybe the stomach. But what's happening inside your body as you feel the clenching, the not breathing in your heart? What's happening for you?
I'm breathing.
Okay.
I'm letting go. I'm relaxing, actually.
So it's starting to integrate. It's
Yeah.
starting to integrate by being with it. And so to me, that's a form of honor, self-love of little you, like, hey, you've got every right to feel panicked, embarrassed, ashamed. Stop breathing. I'm with you. I'm not here to fix you or change you. Just be with the experience. And as you be with it, the autonomic nervous system goes, "Oh, I'm being reparented. It's okay now."
Mhm.
And the body goes, "Oh, a little more relaxing." So we just stay with the relaxing, the calming down a bit, so we don't miss out on this incredible space of zero. So, yes, the body's understanding, "I'm safe now. I'm with Allana on a podcast. It's going to be okay. My husband loves me. I had every right to feel that feeling. I'm okay now." And as we stay with it, the beauty of integrating emotions is that we don't just get rid of them. There's an alchemy from lead into gold. So there's wisdom on the other side.
Mhm.
There's wisdom when we get back to zero of why this happened, why this you chose those parents, why you chose this husband, why you chose this podcast for humanity, why you chose this guest. Like it all can sort of like a puzzle piece come together
Mhm.
and no pressure or anything. But as we stay and we allow the system to come back to zero, and the wisdom from within your soul, your body, to arise. Is there any awareness you have about that little one who
She's
was so,
okay. She's strong.
yeah, yeah. And did she choose a different mm, masculine figure in her life with her husband, someone that won't make her wrong if she made a mistake?
My husband's a pretty amazing guy. Yeah, she made a good decision.
Yeah, so you can go, wow, I learned one way,
Right.
but I chose a primary relationship in another way where it's actually safe now. You look so young, but what did you say, 41? At 41, for me to expose my perfectly imperfect self, and I won't reject me, and he won't reject me, and I have a whole new possibility of living free, unapologetic. I make a mistake when I make a mistake, and I knock it out of the park when I knock it out of the park, and I can stay with me, and I could stay with my beloved. Yeah,
I love that.
extraordinary.
And
Thank
hopefully everybody listening actually did that exercise with us because I feel like 10 pounds lighter.
you. Seriously? Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased, my love. I'm so pleased. Yeah. I'll give them one more example so they can have two rounds at this kind of way of
Yeah,
being if you'd like.
sure.
Back in the relationship that we were speaking of before when I was in Charleston, it didn't work out, but it worked out in terms of finding the wound from my parents that I could integrate, which I call a success. Even if the relationship didn't work out, I still call it a success. So my boyfriend at the time, he wasn't into obligatory gifts. So he wasn't really into like Christmas gifts. So he bought me tickets to Alanis Morissette a couple months before Christmas. And Christmas morning, all there was nothing. There was just all my presents for him. But he's like, no, remember I got you those tickets? And I'm like, okay. So that was a little bit owie because I like gifts, but that's okay. That's how he is. That's fine. But then 6 months later, I come home and he said, oh, I sold the Alanis Morissette tickets. I've got a gig. Now, up until then, in our short relationship, maybe 10 months at that point, if he had done something which I felt insensitive, I would react and I would say, why? Why did you do that?
Mhm.
And he would instantly get defensive. The fight would occur. Or I'd do what you just explained before. Why, Chip, I'm out. I'm going for a drive. I'm
And
going to
then
the
you
beach.
just push everything down and then you
Totally.
become
And
resentful.
exactly. So this was the pattern for 10 months. And so here it was, the worst of all of these grievances. He sold my only Christmas present without even asking me. And so instead of leaving and instead of questioning why, which only makes him defensive, I did what I just did with you. I closed my eyes, I felt my feet on the ground, and I started to feel the emotions inside. And I found little you, and she was in my heart, and she was devastated. So I said out loud, devastated, feeling devastated. And maybe it took 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then it shifted lower into my body. Worthless. I feel worthless. I feel unimportant. So I felt that for 30 seconds, 60 seconds. And then it dropped down even deeper. And then it got very quiet and very calm inside. And I had clarity and I go, oh, he just forgot. And I opened my eyes. I said, you just forgot. I forgive you. I need a partner who doesn't forget.
That's what I was about to say. At what
So,
point do you not for like, do you have
yeah,
that reaction?
yeah. But I had it from I'm going to call it a response, not a reaction.
Mhm.
Before, I'm like, I am going to break up with you. You don't care about me. That's a
Right.
reaction and blame. But I
Right.
got all the way to the clarity with compassion, not condoning, that he literally forgot. He literally doesn't value what he bought for me, and he values more. He got a gig for his band. He values that more. And I don't want to be in a relationship where I'm that devalued, that unimportant. But with compassion and forgiveness, I could say, I forgive you and I'm complete. I'm done. Right. And so that's leaving a relationship from integrating a wound. I'm going to call myself a wounded princess into a queen, integrating this into my worth. And I deserve a king who holds me as worthy as
Mhm.
well. And then I can complete the relationship calmly, not comfortable. But this is how we can learn, oh, is this relationship a match? Is this behavior that we're doing to ourselves a match? Is this the way I want to parent my kids? Is this a client that's actually valuing and honoring me? All these deeper questions. It's just so easy to react and blame. It
Hmm.
really takes some courage, some ownership, some integrity, and some bravery to feel these feelings. But we can integrate all of these emotions into truth and then act from that place. And then have, I'm sure you're a coach or me a coach, like have a coach or a community that'll hold you, have your back as you bravely complete relationships,
Hmm.
change your path, move to Santa Fe,
Exactly.
whatever you want to do that's aligned with your heart.
For so many women, I listen to that story and I'm like, yes, that makes perfect sense. But for so many women, I feel like we don't acknowledge our worth or don't know our worth. What are some things that people can do where they can finally, after experience of those kind of things, go, I deserve better. I am worth more.
Yeah.
How do they have that epiphany moment?
I wouldn't say it's an actual epiphany moment. I think it's a series of these moments until you actually build the capacity, the resilience, the
Mhm.
knowing. I often call it sprinkles on top of the ice cream cone of shit. We can say the affirmations, I'm good enough, I'm worthy
Right.
all day long, but we actually don't know it. We might hope we are. So if we're still seeking our worth from the outside in, we're never going to get there. Never going to get there. If only he bought me another gift. If only he apologized. If only all this outside stuff. So it's really true to me. Worth is, we often collapse them. So let's say this hand is my worth and this hand is my accomplishments. We often collapse our accomplishments and our achievements. He texted me. He wants to date me. The client worked with me. I lost 10 pounds. It's an accomplishment or achievement of some sort. And it's like a blanket we put on top of our worth and we think it's the same thing and it's not.
Kind of like benefits with features in the business world.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well said. So when you peel away your accomplishments, and I've had a lot of accomplishments, cum laude graduate of an Ivy League school, author of 6 books, 6 million views on my YouTube channel, like a lot of accomplishments. But I've also had a lot of failures. I started a dating app and I with my coaching company, two companies at once. It was too much. I almost went bankrupt. I almost lost it all. Lost my house. You've heard of the story of the custody battle. So I've had the failures too. And so I was always trying to overcome the failures and be good enough. So I tried to accomplish more. But it was the opposite side of the same coin of illusion. I am not my accomplishments. I have them. I am not my failures. I've experienced them. My worth is something completely separate. So when you uncollapse these two and you are proud of your accomplishments and you learn from your failures, and this is called the experience of life, nothing's happened to worth over here. It's still there. So to spend a little more time over there and get to know why you are worthy. And it has nothing to do with your accomplishments or the size of your ass or the size of your bank account. It's because I am that I am. And that's the end of the sentence. I am worthy because I am. And to really get to know all the little yous inside who don't believe that yet because of certain experiences and peel away what she made that mean. He
Mhm.
left me, so I must not be good enough. Peel away, he left me. And that's an experience. And then we can even use like a sentence, even though he left me, I love and accept myself. Even though I went bankrupt, I love and accept myself. And you can utilize these points of view and say them as a mantra and embody and feel the feelings that need to be integrated until one day you get to a place, if this becomes your spiritual practice, when you journal or walk on the beach or do what have you, no matter what, if everybody turned against me, I've even done this exercise with some of my clients. For some reason, I see Newfoundland. I don't know why, I'm Canadian, but like an Adirondack chair sitting on these big cliffs of Newfoundland. And what if nobody knew you existed? Nobody signed up for your Facebook.
Mhm.
Nobody married you. You lost all your money and you just sat there. You sit there long enough, even if nobody knew me. I exist. I am worthy. I'm a child of God. I am one with all. There are some beautiful, deep meditative moments that come from some of my processes I take people through where you rest in the everything nothingness of worth. And then from that place, you're no longer motivated by fear, motivated by proving, motivated by getting, motivated by seeking anything. You start to take actions because they delight you. They resonate with you. They align with you. You're
Mhm.
not attached to the outcome. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'll try something else. And you become so much more magnetic and so much more grateful for the small things when you loosen your attachment and you let go of your achievements being your worth. And I call it a journey and a practice, not an epiphany moment. Because if we don't continue to treat ourselves with such reverence, respect, devotion, cherishing and worship to that one who is worthy because she exists, we'll get caught up with all the shiny things that we need to accomplish to be good enough.
Right.
So it's a journey and it's a practice and it's possible.
It allows you to be your true, authentic self.
Which is so sexy. And oh, by the way, when you're that way, you tend to get the guy and all the new clients, right?
Right.
Because you're not trying and they can feel your authenticity.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I do want to actually talk about dating a little bit more for like, I don't want to say older ladies, but 40 and up ladies, because I have a lot of
Yep.
people in my life that are now going through divorce or just haven't found that special someone yet. But
Yep.
one thing where we're talking about worth and like you said, your accomplishments, I know that America is a little bit different where we are defined by a lot of times by what we do for a living, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, whether it's I'm a stay-at-home mom or I'm a banker, I'm a personal trainer, I'm a public speaker. That's not who we are. That's what we do.
Right.
How can we change our mindset from thinking about these as our how we define ourselves and define ourselves by more of I'm a kind person. This is the energy that I put out into the world. I don't think a teacher is necessarily a job. I feel like people are put onto this earth to share their knowledge with the world. So how can we
Yeah.
change that mindset?
Yeah. It's from mindset to heart set. You're never going to get there in your mind because the mind is always fear-based, trying to accomplish something to be safe. So completely trying to release the mind and come down into the heart, even further into the gut, into the hips, into your sacred yoni, into your beingness. That occurs in your body, not in your mind. When you're really connected to your heart and your soul in your hips, a different mind comes online. Not the strategic, try to figure it out, not the fear-based amygdala, better fight or flight or freeze. There's a center place in the middle, the pineal, where it turns on and it connects to the all. And that's a different mind. So it's actually reminding me, I have a Patreon channel. I just started it 3 months ago. And
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah. I'm very proud of it. And in the behind the scenes, I think what I'm going to do actually is put my last Match.com profile in there, read it and express how I expressed myself because the quality of men I attracted were all attracted to my beingness, not my doingness, based on how I wrote. So I think I'm going to share that in there. But basically, leaving the mind, I go into my heart, I go into my hips, and I go into the qualities that I value. Now, if I don't value them, why on earth would he?
Right.
Right? So we need to spend time falling in love with ourselves, valuing ourselves, dating ourselves, flirting with ourselves, self-pleasuring ourselves, all the things so that we start to really value our light, our joy, our expression, our goofiness, our dorkiness, our naughtiness, our sexiness, our capacity to listen and be tender and caring, be that soft breast for his head to rest on when he had a hard day at work. It's not what we said, it's who we're being. And if we can't be that for ourselves, that intimate relationship with ourselves, and if we don't value that within ourselves, we're going to write a profile of all of our accomplishments, and then we're going to attract somebody that only values our accomplishments. Just like my male clients complain about why is she a gold digger? And I read his profile, and all he talks about is all of his
How
possessions.
successful yeah.
Right? Because he hasn't learned to value his heart, his depth, his presence, his unwavering spaciousness that he holds when she needs a hug or when she needs to vent or just be expressed. Right? So this is not just a woman, this is a male and female issue, I would say, that we have overvalued our mind and we've stayed there at the mind trying to fix what does Einstein say? You can't fix a problem at the same consciousness that created it.
Sounds good to me.
Something along those lines. You can't learn to value your heart when you're looking in your mind for a better mindset. You've got to drop in to your heart and then integrate the wounds that are there. And that takes bravery because you're going to find, if you're anything like me and you were over accomplishing, right? That's because inside I felt not good enough. right? Or I felt my value was my body. I was a model in Japan for 4 years. I thought, well, that's why my husband married me. I was a model and a dancer, right? So I didn't go, oh, he married me because of my heart. And I didn't value my heart either. I only valued my body and my modeling and my accomplishments, and then later my brain. So it's our work to go within, to really fall in love with these aspects of ourselves. And I'm going to call them like eccentricities, uniqueness. What's weird and wonderful about you?
And
Because you
quirky.
don't, quirky, exactly. Because you don't want to pretend you're somebody you're not. Oh, would you like to go for sushi? And you hate sushi. And you say, sure, you'll go for sushi on your first date. And you're gagging it as you're going down. Like I personally love sushi, but don't be a fakey fake. Stay in your body. Take a deep breath, tell the truth, feel your feelings, and be honest. I really appreciate you wanting to take me for sushi. It's actually not my favorite. Would you be up for going out for Italian? Now that bravery, that honesty, that authenticity, now you don't have to pretend who you are anymore with them. And he's going to get to know the real you. And if you're not his cup of tea, let's find out sooner than later, and vice versa. So if you can write a profile, not to attract the guy, but to repel everybody except for him, you'll have a lot better experience dating. Don't be afraid to own your worth. Also, don't be afraid to say where you are still wobbly. In that profile, I wrote, it was right after I lost those 2 companies. And I said, at this point, I said, I've owned a beautiful house in LA and I've lost it. And I've made a lot of money in my career, and I just almost went bankrupt overextending myself, trying to be a bigger impact on the planet with a dating app. And right now I'm rebuilding myself and at the time I was in North Carolina. So I was real. So if they can't be with that level of vulnerability, that is a way to repel them quickly, because I'm going to be demanding this level of intimacy as a starting point in a relationship. I didn't say I was an intimacy expert. Find me at allanapratt.com. I tried to be as anonymous as one can be. But what I found, I really enjoyed the dating process because I only attracted people that were so drawn, led. Oh, what a breath of fresh air. You're so real. Oh my God, I could be real too. So be brave when you're dating and lead with your authentic self.
Out of the online platforms, which dating platform do you feel is the best for ladies in our area?
None, which is why I
None.
started my own and got investors, and I called it Heartmates. So I don't think any of them work.
My husband's trying to convince, he's a website designer and programmer, trying to convince my sister-in-law who's 47. We're trying to find herself the perfect guy. We're like, we need to create a dating site for 45s and over.
Well, there are a lot for older people, but that doesn't mean anybody's done the work, anybody's conscious, right? So, excuse me, that's the main thing. And then a lot of these spiritual dating sites are posers who say they're spiritual because it's the cool thing to say, but they actually haven't done any work either, and they just have all the right lingo. So, to me, the most successful way is not about which app you choose, but how discerning, grounded, and aware you are as you date. So, you can smell a rat. You can smell the love bombers. You can say, whoa, those pictures aren't congruent. Or the first time we texted or talked on the phone, it's not congruent. Oh, they probably hired somebody to write their profile, right? So it's the safest way in my opinion, to date is to do this intimacy work so that your intuition is turned on. When your heart is closed, wounded, and you're up in your mind trying to strategize and not get hurt again, that is the surest way to get hurt dating. But when you integrate the wounds in your hearts, heart math proves this, that the field of the heart is 5,000 times greater than the field of the mind. And so we can feel and sense, and then the energy through an open heart can go down into your gut, your instincts, your intuition, your soul's whispers. This is when you're open, you can sense, oh, he looks hot, and he's rich. Wow, and those biceps, but your body's like, ick. And then you text for the first time and he doesn't actually ask a question about your profile. And then you talk to him for the first time on the phone and he's talking at you, not with you, right? These are the senses that you need to say, thank you so much. I'm not feeling that special spark. I need to continue. I wish you the best on your dating journey, right? That to me is how you magnetically attract, quote unquote, your perfect person for your sister. And the other thing is, as we ascend, and by ascending, I mean, we don't hang out in the, you're right, I'm right, you're wrong. This is good, this is bad, very third dimensional, blamey kind of one person wins, one person loses way of living in life. And we ascend through this deeper work of self love, self forgiveness, homecoming, embodiment, open heartedness. We call that the fifth dimension, where it's a win win win. I want to create a situation that wins for me and you and humanity, right? This way of living. As we do this work, what's more powerful is your frequency. Back in the third dimension, your power is doing and pushing and making it happen. That's the only way you can get anywhere. That's the way we manifest in the third dimension. It's exhausting, and you can't see a narcissist coming. You can't smell a rat because you're not in your body. You're very much in your mind pushing. But in the fifth dimension is very much about embodiment. And your frequency, which means your vibration, which means your openness, which means your allowance, unattachment, knowing of your worth, that's all can be measured as a frequency. And that actually acts like a vortex, like a magnet. So tell the universe you're serious, get on some dating apps, but don't be surprised if you keep your chin up at the grocery store and you're being this frequency that you run right into somebody. I mean, I just moved in here a week ago. The minute I pulled into the parking lot, some very handsome, lovely man was walking out saying, wow, looks like you're just moving in. I said, yeah, I've just driven for 4 days. He goes, wow, I did that from New York back during COVID. Welcome to town. I said, would you be willing to take me on a hike? That's me being brave. I want to know the area or go for a coffee. And he, sure, so he gave me his text. And then later that evening, he said, you know what? You probably haven't had a meal in 4 days, huh? I'm like, yeah, power bars, coffee, driving 7, 8 hours a day. He's like, no pressure at all, but I just made up some turkey, spinach pasta if you want to come up for dinner. So look at that. I didn't try. It was my frequency. It was me checking in with my, intuition. Is he a crazy person? My bravery to be receptive, my ability to be discerning. If he turned out to be skeevy, I would, taken my self-defense.
Don't go hike.
Right? Yeah. Right. I won't go. Yeah. So I just give that example. It doesn't have to be hard when you show up in alignment, listen to your truth, be brave, listen to your intuition. To meet people, your vibration speaks way louder than pushing actions.
That's incredible. That's awesome. But I have to know, have you gone on a hike yet?
No, but it turns out what we talked about during dinner was that I was a dancer since I was 5 years old, and he loves to partner dance, West Coast swing. I don't know how to do that. He's like, well, can I teach you? I've been waiting for someone to go West Coast swing dancing with. So we're going, whatever, in 3 days from the recording of this, he's going to take me out dancing. So that's even more fun for me than hiking.
Yeah. If nothing else, at least you've met a new friend in the area already.
Well, I've met a dance partner. So that's for a friend who's a dance partner for sure. Exactly. And that's all from following my heart and being brave, receptive, listening to my intuition and having my own back.
That's incredible. I know that we're getting a little bit short on time, but you had mentioned a word that I've heard before, but I think most people probably went, what? And that was yoni.
Oh, yoni. Yes.
What is that to those people that are like, what the heck is she talking about?
Yeah. Okay. So yoni is a sacred word for the vulva, our vagina. When we think of, it's so interesting as a woman, we have all these names, the pussy or the little box or down there. Like we don't have this like honoring name of our sacred sexuality. And so yoni for me is one of the favorite names of honor and reverence of our vagina. And there is I'm going to call it a knowing, like a silent in your vagina, in your yoni, where you know whether somebody's trustable or not. Often on dates, I'll ask my clients, halfway through the date, go to the bathroom, sit down, and ask her, what do you think? She will either like clench up or like a little bit icky, or she'll be like juicy and open. in because our mind will go, well, he's really rich and really hot and
Hmm.
whatever, or our heart might be longing to be told we're beautiful, or maybe we're a little needy and wounded and we want to be seen and valued. Our heart might not necessarily give us an accurate assessment of him because we're getting attention and
Hmm.
getting that, neediness met. But if you go down through an open heart down into your yoni, she'll be like, mm-hmm. Mm-mm. She doesn't lie. She never lies. And she's also the seat of so much creation, creating from the darkness. We create life in our womb, right? So she has a lot of wisdom. And if you don't, and I didn't have a relationship with her and like self-pleasuring, not to get off and have an orgasm for stress release, but to be curious, to have pleasure. And if you've done any sexual somatic healing work like I have, I've gone through sexual abuse and I've gone through sexual somatic healing, and literally my vagina was numb. My labia were numb. I didn't understand they were numb. Even my butt muscles were numb. That whole area, my pelvis was numb. And as I started doing healing, my butt looks better because I have mind body connection now to my glutes. I can
Hmm.
feel them, but they were literally numb before. And I used to only be able to have like clitoral orgasms because my insides of my vagina were numb. And so now I'm learning to have vaginal. I still haven't had a cervical orgasm, but I will. And experience the pleasure. And with a cervical orgasm, it goes all the way up the vagus nerve into your pineal that connects you to all that is a non-local intelligence. Basically, I'm trying to say that sex can be a path to God. It can be a very healing, nourishing, spiritual, sacred experience of oneness with yourself and the divine, and then to bring that level of rapture and surrender to your partner, your marriage. It can take perfunctory sex, or maybe you've turned more into roommates, into like really discovering a whole new experience where a little goes a long way when we have a more reverent relationship with our yoni. And my sexual somatic practitioner, her name is Myola Woods. She's in Australia, and she's facilitated parts of my retreats. I do yearly intimacy retreats,
Oh, wow.
and she's a goddess. She's a goddess and makes it very beautiful to reconnect with your yoni.
Do you feel like sexuality is something that's become easier to talk in our society more recently, or with coming, like, I feel like early 2000s and everything before, women were like, you don't talk to your friends about sex. You don't talk openly on social media about sex. And now I do feel like it's starting to open up. I know a girlfriend and I were talking about our sex life the other day, and I was like, I feel so lucky to be able to have these
Yeah.
friends that you can do that. But I do feel like that's new. And if people don't have that, how can they open those conversations with their friends and start them?
Yeah. Well, that's why I created my business 20 years ago. So
It's
we
so
were
important to
safe.
be able to.
Yeah, all levels of intimacy with our heart, with our yoni,
Sure.
our bodies, learning to be in love with our bodies, all of this. So definitely, I have 6 books. I have coaching. I've got the Patreon channel that I spoke of. So this is a place where you can get communication guidance on how to talk about this with your partner or with your girlfriends, different questions you can ask. And I would say the first thing is literally start talking with your body.
Mhm.
That would be the first conversation I would start to have. And if you can be maybe still uncomfortable, but it's you're willing to have that newness with yourself, you can take the courage and the connection that you're having with your own body, your own truth, your own longing, your
Mhm.
own yearning, your own shame, or your maybe a
Let's
little
say get rid of
trepidatious.
the embarrassment of
Yeah,
yourself.
and integrate it so then you can talk with your girlfriends about it. And it can be such. I remember one when I first moved to LA, I had a group of women I hung out with, and we all shared on we call it a woo-way night. And we all talked about our first time having sex. And some it was beautiful, and some it was awkward, and some it was rape. It was all over the place. And it was a safe place to begin this group of women where it was safe to talk about everything. So make an intention, start a women's group and have a topic every single, week or month where and the rule is no fixing, no unsolicited advice. See if when someone shares you can just say thank you. That's enough. That doesn't mean you agree or disagree, but that means you're not there to fix them or change them. You're just there to create a safe place to say, speak truth.
I think that that is such an important thing that you just said, because as much as I love my husband and I love men, that is a very hard thing for men to do, to just listen. And I feel like that is why female relationships are so important to have, because you can look at your girlfriends and just say, I just want you to listen. Tell me I'm right, but just hear me out. Give me a hug at the end.
Yeah.
Don't judge me. Don't try to find the answer.
Yeah, tell me I have every right to feel this way. In my Patreon Heart Centered Foundations tier, I provide what's called dyads, and this is a helpful tool for men who want to win. They want to please. They want to serve. They want to give us pleasure. So that's why they want to fix all the time. But these structures, you ask the question, somebody answers, and then all you say is thank you. And the first question in these dyads that I propose in my Patreon account, the first question you go back and forth for 5 minutes, and all you say is, "Tell me something you like about me." Because even if you've been married 20 years, you know you love each other.
Right.
But like, what is it that you like about each other? Second question, tell me something you think we align on. Because when there's an issue, we often go from the same team to opposite teams. So it's really good to remember that you're on the same team. And the third question changes. And I give a different third question every single month in the Patreon. And it can be, tell me something that turns you on that you've never told me. Or it can be, tell me something you're afraid to tell me. Or it could be, tell me something you want me to understand about pleasure. What brings you pleasure? Tell me a way you like to be loved. Right? Any of these questions, like you think you know what your partner's answers are, but you'd be amazed. And here's the second part. You'd be amazed at what you hear from your partner, but sometimes you're amazed what comes out of your own mouth. Because when someone's listening and they're not going to interrupt, and you have that safety to go deeper than you normally do and get that quick answer out there before they interrupt you, you go deeper and you're like, wow, I've been amazed at the truth that lays within my heart, my soul, that I didn't even know was in there. Yeah. And these dyads are the key.
Diets. I love that. Well, you guys have heard it. Go check it out. Patreon. I can never say that word.
That's okay. Patreon.com
Patreon. Thank
forward
you. I'm like,
slash Allana
Patreon.
Pratt.
That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And Alana, how can people connect with you? What's the best way for them to reach out to you? All of the sites that they need to go to connect. Lay it
Yeah.
all out
Well,
there for everybody.
everything is Allana Pratt. So my podcast is actually Intimate Conversations. But
Mhm.
other than that, it's YouTube Allana Pratt, Instagram Allana Pratt, Patreon Allana Pratt. And there's also a complimentary gift on my website, allanapratt.com. If you say allanapratt.com forward slash top, the number 5 mistakes, that's a complimentary 5 video series of talking about the top 5 mistakes we make when that destroy our conscious relationships. So it's a beautiful way to get to know how I teach and some good tips and tools. But I will be honest, it's only going to be awareness. We've spoken today about what it really takes to heal, and that's down in the body, integrating these wounds. But at least you'll have certainty that you know you're heading in the right direction, which calms the mind down and allows us to do the deep work to have the intimacy that we desire and deserve.
Thank you. I am going to go check this out as soon as I get home today. I have to go back to my studio here in just a second, but as soon as I
Okay,
get in tonight,
awesome.
I will definitely check it out myself.
Thank
And
you, love.
congratulations on the move. Congratulations
Thank
on everything that
you.
you have coming up.
Yeah,
And thank you for hanging out with me today.
it was great. And I'm sorry it's on Zoom, not in person, but
I
we
know,
did
I'm
it. We
so
still accomplished
disappointed that
it.
we realized that. Oh, well,
Yeah.
you'll have to come visit Charleston again and we'll set
When I
something
do, I'll
up.
let you know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Great.
so
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
What did you think? I mean, that woman is amazing, right? You can just feel her energy. It is so contagious that when I got off of this, I was on a high. I was in the best mood for the rest of the day simply because of this conversation. Being able to connect with people all over the world through social media and through podcasting has been my favorite thing that I get to do through Fit Women's Weekly, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as well. If you did, definitely go check her out. I'll make sure to put all the websites and the links to Alana's social down below. And if you have not already, please do me a favor. It really does mean a lot if you subscribe to the channel and give it a like if you are on YouTube. But regardless whether it's YouTube or you're listening, make sure that you're subscribed. I don't want you to miss out on future episodes. I put new ones out every single week.